This is Nintendo Power Uncovered, the show where I review the covers of all 285 issues of Nintendo Power. From the great to the baffling to the just plain lazy, we're in for the long haul here. Today we're going to continue our adventure with 3 more issues from the year 1990, featuring covers that celebrate Super Mario Bros. 3, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, and Ninja Gaiden 2. Those are 3 incredible classics that everybody should play, but are the covers any good? That's what we're going to find out in this episode of Nintendo Power Uncovered. One thing you may have noticed in the first 4 episodes is that Nintendo Power did not start out as a monthly magazine. It only got 6 issues a year from its very inception. But 2 years into its run, Nintendo Power decided to go monthly. Kind of. After seeing the success of GamePro, Electronic Gaming Monthly, and Game Players, Nintendo followed suit and began to publish 12 issues a year. Of course, this wouldn't be a proper Nintendo story without the company making things a whole lot more complicated than they needed to be. Instead of doing what most people wanted and just adding 6 new issues per year, Nintendo Power decided to create a bi-monthly strategy guide. This meant that you would get a regular issue one month, then you would get a strategy guide, followed by another issue, and then another strategy guide. It was an idea that started out strong, thanks in large part to them picking a game that had so many hidden treasures that a strategy guide was almost mandatory. This also gave Nintendo's artists another crack at Super Mario Bros. 3, a game they had tackled only 2 issues ago. Unfortunately, these strategy guides are only useful to people that actually own the games. Super Mario Bros. 3 is the kind of game that almost every Nintendo Power subscriber would probably run out and buy. But what about Ninja Gaiden or Final Fantasy? At one point, Nintendo decided to dedicate a whole strategy guide to various sports games. We'll discuss each of these guides when we get to them, but needless to say, your mileage may vary. Now, unlike the past 2 Super Mario Bros. Themed issues, this feels like the kind of thing you would see on a competitor's cover. I get the feeling this design was hobbled together by somebody who found a bunch of discarded Mario drawings from Nintendo of Japan. I mean, it's not bad, but it's also not especially memorable. It's a safe cover that makes me yearn for something in that claymation style of the Super Mario Bros. 2 cover. I mean, it may have been a useful strategy guide, but this Mario 3 design is a Bowser-sized disappointment. After 14 issues, I think it's safe to say that Nintendo Power has been wildly inconsistent when it comes to cover designs based on licensed properties. We saw how terrible the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Batman covers turned out to be, and yet we also saw how Nintendo pulled it all together to create a unique take on DuckTales. The latter success gave me a glimmer of hope that the artist could once again create magic with a Disney Afternoon follow-up. But there's no magic to be found here. Fat Cat stole all the magic. The original DuckTales cover featured a clever way to incorporate Disney's artwork with real-world props. The result may not have been as impressive as other Nintendo Power covers, but at least it was eye-catching. Here we're only given Disney's art, which I guess means the artists at Nintendo Power were given a month to recuperate. Look, for the sake of the series, I'm hoping they had a chance to go on vacation, get in some real relaxation, and do whatever it was that gave us that Tetris cover from a few months back. Now, to Nintendo Power's credit, they did add a new background for Chip 'n Dale to interact with. Here we see a library full of books, complete with a desk light that has our 2 heroes supposedly standing on it. Look, this is real bad. That's coming from a guy who is admittedly pretty terrible at Photoshop. I mean, Chip falling off the light bulb looks fine, I suppose, but nobody's buying that Dale is just standing there. And it's not just awful, but it's also kind of dangerous. Look, light bulbs are hot, especially those old incandescent bulbs that are like 5 times the size of a chipmunk. You try holding your hand on one of those bulbs and watch what happens. Anyway, looking past the lifetime of permanent burn marks, we see Fat Cat in the window. You can almost see him licking his lips as he waits for the light to bake those 2 rodents with delicious perfection. But wait a second, how was he able to reach right through the window like that? There's no sign that he smashed through the glass, and neither Chip nor Dale seem especially concerned about being nabbed by their arch nemesis. I mean, are we to believe the owner of the library accidentally left the glass part out of the window? I mean, is the wood frame only there to give off the illusion of a glass window? Now that's a mystery I'd like the Rangers to rescue. So as it turns out, not every game needs a strategy guide. Ninja Gaiden 2 is one of those games. While Super Mario Bros. 3 is a game full of cleverly placed secrets and complicated level designs, this Tecmo sequel is as straightforward as an action game can be. This challenge isn't finding hidden exits or traversing a labyrinthian map to the boss. You see, Ninja Gaiden 2 is tough because of the unfair platforming sections, birds that dive bomb you out of nowhere, and bosses that have no intention of letting you win. I mean, I can certainly understand spending 10 or 15 pages laying out all of the strategies, but creating a full guide seems like a bit much. Nevertheless, this is Nintendo's second stab at the bi-monthly guide. While I may scoff at its need to exist, I'm happy to have another Nintendo Power cover starring a man in a ninja costume. When we last left foe Ryu Hayabusa, he had just keyed my car and refused to blink for like 3 days straight. Now he's trying to sneak into Ashtar's evil lair. He looks on at the narrow, winding path knowing that he may never come back. Which, if I'm being honest, is fine by me because, seriously, dude, what the hell? Now, it's not immediately clear what is real and what is fake. We know that the ninja is a real person, but the rock he's standing on blends in nicely with the rest of the artwork. Furthermore, the lair's entrance is adorned with a golden skull filled with bright light and certain doom. In the distance, the mountains are dodging lightning strikes. You know, just in case the Kool-Aid colored sky, the glowing skull, and the non-stop enemy guards weren't ominous enough. It may not be especially original, but this is a marked improvement over Nintendo Power's first attempt. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Nintendo Power Uncovered. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now here's the question I have for you. How would you rank these 3 covers? Do you think I have it about right, or am I way off? Let me see your grades in the comments below. In other news, I'm currently working through a whole mountain of reviews, as well as gearing up for a few months of heavy electronic gaming monthly coverage. While I work on that, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,